But I don't have time to create content. Is that you? Are you constantly telling yourself you know you need to be creating content, you know you get to be consistent with creating content, but you just cannot seem to find the time within your crazy schedule? Especially now if you're a parent and you're building your business from home and your kids are now homeschooled during this 2020 pandemic. You know, there might be a lot of different moving parts going on in your life that have you feeling like creating content is just no easy feat. Well, today I'm here to show you exactly how I map out my content each and every single month to where it's done with ease and flow, and I'm not burning myself out every single day trying to create content. So stick around and let's dive in. Hola, Jen Johnson here, your high performance Christian business coach. And on this channel, each and every single week, we are diving in with coaches and content creators on how to clarify your message and your offers so that you can attract dream clients and turn your purpose into profit. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't done that already. I'll wait. Now, question for you. If you're building a business online and you're not creating content that's going to create value, trust, build brand, authority, influence, what are you doing? What is really moving the needle for you if you're not creating content? Because content is such a huge piece of drawing in your actual clients and drawing in students and people that you actually want to work with. If you're not creating that value on the front end or even creating an experience from beginning to offer, then what else would you really be doing that's more important than actually creating the content? Because I'm here to tell you that content is one of the main infrastructures of building an online business. It's so important that I've actually created an entire masterclass around the 5 types of content that you want to be sure are implemented inside of the infrastructure of your business. So if you haven't watched that masterclass yet, I'll put the description below so you can check that out after this video. It is a must watch. So I've been doing an entire series around getting organized, really getting in relationship with your calendar, learning what goes on your calendar, creating calendar categories, and the exact things that you want to have in place so that you stay consistent and you stay clear on what it is you're doing every day. So if you missed any part of this series, definitely go back and check it out. I'll be posting up, different video links here for you to be able to go back and refer to those. But ultimately, one of the main things you want to have on your calendar is when and where you're actually creating content, because if it's not scheduled, it is not getting done. And I want to share with you the 3 biggest mistakes that I see, because you may be making them and you can start to eliminate them immediately. The first thing is just creating content on the fly, trying to think, what am I posting today? What am I creating as content this week? It doesn't work. It doesn't promote consistency. And therefore, if you're just trying to create it on the fly, more than likely you're showing up very sporadically within your marketing strategies. The other thing is not knowing when or where you're posting your content. Now, I go into this inside of my masterclass, the differences between pillar content and social content, but ultimately you want to have a pillar platform that you focus on where you can actually be delivering your juiciest content and then using those other social platforms to be able to push and promote and repurpose and publish. So again, if you want to check that out, you can check out the masterclass, but essentially you want to avoid the inconsistency by creating new habits, which means you got to start scheduling out when, where, and what you're going to be doing. So this is where I'm going to share with you how I do this step by step to keep it really easy, to alleviate the burnout and the confusion, because a confused mind does nothing, and that's not where we want you to go. So let's dive into it. So when it comes to creating your pillar content on a monthly basis, this is exactly how I map it out. I have 4 stages. They all start with the letter P, so it's going to be very easy for you to remember. You can write it down, take notes. But ultimately, the first thing that you want to do is you want to plan what your topics are going to be. Okay, so ultimately, you're sitting down one day a month for a couple of hours, an hour, however long it takes you. Note that in the beginning, it's going to take you longer. The more you do this, the quicker you'll get at it. So it won't be something that's going to take as long down the road. You'll become more efficient with each and every step that I'm sharing with you. So, schedule out how much time you think it's going to take you right now to come up with 4 pieces of content. You want to create 1 pillar piece of content a week on your pillar platform. For me, that's this channel right here, YouTube. So I'm always mapping out my content pieces in advance. If you can get 1 month, 2 months, 3 months ahead of your calendar. So, let's say we're in the month of September right now and I'm prepping for 4 pieces of content in December. That's awesome if you can have that much content that you're piling up, so that way you're not having to come up with it so last minute, but at least getting 30 days out, creating 4 pieces for the following month so that you're not last minute urgently trying to pressure yourself into coming up with content. So you're going to take 1 day a month and you're going to plan what your topics are going to be. Not only are you planning it, but you're going to create the outline for it. You also want to ensure that you're including your calls to action in this content. And you also want to ensure that you're also directing people to other videos in this content. Notice at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I have other videos that talk about scheduling and getting into your calendar that you're going to want to watch. So I always want to be directing you to other videos that are relevant to this one to give you as much information on the topic as possible. And also, this is going to help with people staying on your channel and increasing your watch time and all of that kind of stuff. So it's a win-win. But ultimately, those are the type of elements you want to have in your pillar content. Is you want to have that really juicy title, topic, headline. You want to have the actual content outlined of what you're going to be talking about in the video, the call to action, and then pointing people to actual, videos or other resources. Maybe you're podcasting, you can point to other podcasts or you can point to other blog posts, whatever that looks like. So this is just the 1 day a month I want you to put on your calendar. When are you committed each and every single month to setting a planning day for your pillar content? So an example for me, on Monday, the last Monday of every single month is the day that I sit down for a couple hours and I start doing research, I start collecting data, I start looking at what my audience has been asking questions around so that I can get inspired to create relevant content. I actually do have another video that I suggest that you check out that talks about how to collect that data and that research and the different places you can go on the interwebs to really find your juiciest content ideas. So I'll be sure to drop that below so you can check that out as well. Now, another way to alleviate burnout is by really staying organized with this content as you're creating it. And that's a question I get all the time. Jen, how do you keep everything so organized? I use Trello. If you don't know me by now, I am a Trello lover for life. It is how I organize my entire business, every single thing. I have so many different boards for so many different things to keep me in a good workflow, to keep me efficient, to keep me organized. And I actually create these boards for my students as well so that they come in with an organized system in place that they can just lock and load. So ultimately, you can use, if you're outlining your pillar content, it could be Microsoft Word, or it could be Trello, or it could be Asana, or it could be, there's so many different ones, HoneyBook, like all these different ones out there. You really just want to pick one where you can create your templates, you can create the things you need every time you're prepping and planning for your pillar content, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so the first P, you're going to sit down and plan out what your content's going to be. The second P is you have to pick a day every single month where you're going to produce all of the content. You're going to put it all together. That means you're pressing record and you're recording all 4 videos, or you're sitting down and writing all the blog posts, or you're recording all the podcasts, but you're doing it all in one day in a condensed amount of time. It's going to get done so much faster. You're not going to have to worry about so many interruptions going on because you're trying to record 4 pieces of content on 4 different days. You're literally taking a couple of hours. I give myself 3 hours to record my 4 pieces of content. Now, this month we have 5 weeks in the month, therefore I record 5 pieces of content. So it might take me a little bit longer. Typically, it only takes me about 2 to 2.5 hours to record 4 pieces of content, but I'm giving myself 3 hours every time I batch just to create that half hour of buffer time. So this is the second day you want to schedule in your calendar. We've scheduled the day every single month, which for me, example, is Mondays. I sit down and I prep what my content's going to be about on the last Monday of every month. The last Friday of every month is when I'm actually recording the content. I create all of my videos on the last Friday of every month. Now I'm giving that to you as an example. You don't have to do that exact same day. This is where you get to pick the day that fits with what else is going on in your life, okay? Now, the third thing you want to do is you want to prep the actual videos you recorded. So you may need to do some editing. You may want to add some cool little, text and things going across the screen or some B-roll. You really get to choose how fancy you're going to make your videos. I typically like to keep it really simple, but I do edit my videos. So this time I actually allow, there's a day where I sit down and I'm going to sit and just edit out those videos, or you can outsource that. I find for myself, I just get it done so fast because I keep it very simple. And it would take me longer to explain it to someone than it would for me to just do it at this point in time in my business. Now, it is something that if you're not savvy with it, or you feel like it's gonna take you way longer than it would take someone else to do, I suggest looking into outsourcing that as something that you don't need to take on yourself. So you really get to decide what that looks like for you in your business. If you have the bandwidth for it, if you don't really have the patience for it, you get to assess that. But ultimately, I do spend time editing down those videos and getting them pre-uploaded and scheduled into YouTube. So now you have your day where you're planning, your day where you're producing, and then you have your day where you're prepping. Now, it really shouldn't take you full days to do any of this, but essentially you are dedicating a good chunk of your day to those specific things, but you're only now doing it in 3 days rather than trying to figure out how to do all this every single week. That is exhausting. Then what you're going to do next is you're going to publish it. So once you have your videos edited, you can upload them. For me, I upload them into YouTube. I schedule them out so they're ready to go, and they're going to publish on the day that I scheduled it out. Same thing with blogging. You can schedule it, podcasting, schedule it, whatever that looks like, whatever platform you're using, you can always have them edited and then uploaded so they are good to go. Then all that's left to do is the final P, which is promote. You're going to promote the heck out of what you just prepped, what you just produced, what you just published. You get to promote it. So you want to make sure that you're not just having your efforts fall on the actual platform you published it on. You want to get out there and promote that actual content. And that could mean you're taking pieces from the actual content, or you're repurposing, or you're actually just letting people know, hey, I put a new video out on YouTube. You're writing to your list, you're creating posts, you're getting into stories, you're letting people know that this piece of content now exists. Obviously there's some effort that goes into creating these pieces of content. So you don't want it to fall on deaf ears. You don't want it to only stay on that one platform. So now your goal is to drive all of your audience to go watch this content, no matter where they're hanging out. You can point them over to this content by letting them know it exists on whatever platform they're actually hanging out on. So declare it in the comments below. What is the day that you're committed to planning out your content, the day that you're committed to producing, and the day you're committed to prepping that content? You want to not only commit to it, you want to get it on your calendar and you want to share it with the world, because then and only then are you really in a commitment, because you've put it out there. I really, really hope that this video supports you in getting your calendar under control so you're running your days, they're not running you. And again, you can always go back to the other videos in this series to support you in getting more and more control of your calendar, getting in relationship with your time. Lastly, do not forget to watch the masterclass. It's going to open your eyes and blow your mind on how to create a solid infrastructure for your content marketing plan. And until next time, we're going to be diving into the differences between documenting and creating content. I know this is one that comes up for people quite frequently, what it really means to document your journey. So we're going to tap into that. And until then, God bless, keep the faith, impact the world, and I'll see you soon.